Hello, everybody. Um, Somebody made a very nice request um, about a video, so I will title this video "Twin Flames: Unifications of Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine." It's a very good questions. The person who messaged me, just to reply because it's so much information. You can just go ahead and type a few words and explain when you have like another 4 or 5 chats with 4 or 5 other people you're talking to at the same time. So I'll simply reply, I will go ahead and make some video. So this is gonna be the video for it. But before we to beginning is to get you introducing to the part is that the beginning it's only one energy. It's energy that flows throughout the universe. And later on, the energy is divided. This is how the twin flames are divided into a masculine and a feminine. And then when we are breaking to a masculine and feminine, depends of how you look at it, we are breaking into a different culture. We are breaking into dividing to a different culture, the different religion, and so on and on and on. And we created these differences between us. So and the questions are very, very good. I like the questions about it. I'm gonna read it to you. Hi dear, hope you are fine. Can you please explain why male twins are so much dependent on their divine feminines balanced energies? Why they can't balance them with their own wish on 3D form? Now, when you begin ignited as a twin flame, and if you're masculine the way I was, I'm beginning more embracing my feminine sides, my feminine energies to understand. I begin more unified myself, and this is why the universe is brings new things, new stuff coming into. I can understand both males and females, the way they are and how they react, how they talk. I can understand specifically the part of the women's because it's a lot of learning that comes into simply because we were taught, hey, you are a man, don't act like a girl, don't do this, only the girls do this, only the girls act like this, only the girls thinking like this, only the girls talking like this. So what happens is when you are a masculine, you learn to suppress this part. You learning to go ahead and really, really suppress on that part. So when you find a partner, okay, we're talking about the three-dimensional world. You show up your masculinity. You want to shows up how much is a masculine. But at the same time, the female actually wants one thing, and you will find out later on the woman wants understanding. I mean, the pleasure, the love, the sex, and everything else will become pointless if you don't understand the person you're living with. It's just you're gonna come zip into it. That's gonna be the answer for you. It's why the divine masculine needs the divine feminine's energies. He needs them because he has to learn how to begin understanding the unification process. The unification process is when you embrace the part you're rejecting. On the beginning of the world, the way it was created, the survivors from the Great Flood, they all speak one language. And according to the legends, they wanted to build this big tower. And that big tower to reach God. Well, the God was inside. They were looking at the wrong place, and got mad at them, and then told them that they can be get separated on different cultures and different tongues, so they cannot understand each other. until they don't go back to the same original language the way they need to be. The original language, that is the vibrations of love that we possess in the soul. Same thing like the animals, they have the vibrations. Through the vibrations, they actually sense when someone's coming. All their senses are very high, but they can feel if you are with bad vibrations or with good vibrations or good intentions. Sometimes you can feel, like some wild animals, they can come in close to you. That is the original vibrations, the language that we have forgotten, simply because we are talking right now, we're expressing ourselves, and we begin to do a lot of things. But why did the divine male twins depends on their divine feminine's energies? They depending on that energies because simply they cannot withstand on their own power, on their own masculine power. They've been on their masculine power for so long during the lifetime, and that masculine power inside of them is not going to help them to achieve what they want to achieve. This is the part they're learning. If you haven't watched the Battle of the Egos, there are two videos there. The Battle of the Ego is when the masculine and the feminine begin to fight who will dominate. You have to understand that the twin flames you cannot dominate. You learn how to coexist in partnership. And that is the hard lesson for a lot of the twin flames because they want something from the other side. And when they want something from the other side, they want to push it into it. Like they want them to commit to the relationship, they wanted to admit to certain things, or they's like, come on, I know you love me, but why you don't say it so? That's why the masculine, with pushing someone to put more pressure, the feminine still believes in the feminine part, walks away, and now the masculine is like, what did I did? I just did my job. Well, you didn't did your job because you're looking at from material three-dimensional perspective, and this is why the three-dimensional perspective of the masculine energy was not going to work. Simply because right now you are into a 5D soul connection, and everything that used to work on three-dimensional world will not gonna work in the 5D soul love connection. You have to learn the other side of it. What is a divine feminine and divine masculine energies? They are both basically the same thing. If you look at it, that is on the feminine side, that is the goddess, that's the queen, that is the priestess, the warrior, the lover, the wise woman. Okay, I have those out on the Facebook. I post them in. This is the website. You can go ahead and read the article. Down the scroll down, you will see right here. It's divine masculine. It's a blue. It's actually a link. You click, you will find the one for the divine masculine on it. Because the divine masculine, that is the power of the god, of the king, the priest, the warrior, the lover, and the wise man. So to go back, what is so difficult to be the 3D? It's difficult the 3D because you have to overcome the part of there is something new. When you're in a twin flame, the love inside of the soul ignites the soul, and the soul begins to lead you go back, to the beginning, to the origination when you and your twin were together. You are one, and this is why when they say in the Bible, God create, let it be a light, be in the light. And then he create the earth, and after the earth he create Adam and Eve, and then, but the first thing he create Adam, and then from Adam took a little piece and create Eve, and that's why they both trying to find each other into it. And this is why the soul part of Adam and Eve, once they get together, they see each other, then the things began to be really, really crazy. You have to fight everything. First of all, you're gonna fight the God part inside of you. Then you're gonna fight, depends of what you are, the king or the queen side inside of you. The religion part, the priest or the priestess inside of you. There's gonna be a warrior part. That's the fight. That's the fight within the ego when it comes in. You're gonna be seeing that part. And then it's gonna be the part with the lover, when you understand the lover part. And the final part is the most important. It's when you become wise. The wise soul, I would say, that understands that right now you're gonna be in this union with the most important thing. That is the part of you that you see on them, and they see the same part inside of you. And most of it will deny it. Why will deny it? Because one of those, maybe a culture, the king or the queen part, maybe the religion will not do it. The wise part has not kicked in into it. The love, especially the lover part, if it's in a different marriage, they have to overcome so many things. For me, there was no problem because my marriage was pretty much ruined at that point. There was something else was going on. At the same time, I was having a dreams like, you're gonna be divorced, you're gonna have a new woman. I'm like, oh, I don't need those dreams now. I give up on satisfying the woman that I'm living with. Say, whatever the life is, I was in whatever life. But the part is, there is something within 3D that the masculine will not complete. Doesn't matter how many women he can have, how many relationship man has. The 3D is not enough, because the soul, it's 6, the 5-dimension understanding of the feminine energy, and only 10 when the masculine understand the feminine energy, 10 he's ready for union. So is it difficult for the divine feminine to balance them in the both bodies? Because one body is welcomed energies and ready to work. Energies are not only working on soul but also on functional bodies too. And the other side, soul, is ready to work, but the conscious mind is not accepting them, not even acknowledging. It is difficult for divine feminine to balance them in both bodies. Why does it's difficult? If you go look at it inside of it, why it's difficult, there is some still things that have not been worked out. Some of the premature unions, it's things that they haven't been fixed. The divine feminine always wants somehow to continue the old way. What is the old way? Using the intuition, predicting what's going to be the next move of the partner, so she will know how to react. But now when she, the divine feminine, has to unify it with the divine masculine part and understand how does it do the same things but they have a different point of view of it, there is a problems. And the problems are that acceptance, to accepting its own masculine power. A lot of the females, they don't want to admit to their husband that they have a twin flame. I mean, I know quite a few of them that they love their twin, and they're like, but I'm sticking with my husband, and the next 2 or 3 days he's like, but I love my twin flame so much, and they begins that drama of the female side. Here's the part: if you're divine feminine, you have to learn and understand to be divine masculine. You have to find the guts and the power to go and stand in front of your husband and tell him, hey, this is what happened. Him and I, for so many years, blah blah blah. I love him, I'm thinking about him. I love you too, but I can't keep on going on like that. I'm not happy, and I begin not to be happy with you, and then he's not happy because he's not with me. Just so you know how my situation is. Other side, the masculine side. A lot of the men, they're really, really cowards. They are always looking for another woman, and when they find uh, that their soul loves another woman, then the things get crazy. They don't know what to do. They're try to using their physical attractions, physical parts. They try to do something, but doesn't work. That's not gonna work. The three-dimensional way of you attracting a female, it's not gonna work on a five-dimensional world. It is about love and the soul and acceptance of that love. I was wise, so awakened when that happened to me. I went probably after the second month. I couldn't survive anymore. I mean, the love for my twin was like everywhere. I was shining. I was like a giant ball of love, and the bubble of. I just went to my wife and I told her, no, I got mad at my twin flame. I don't know where it's with this woman, but I hurt her. I'm crying. I'm in pain. I can't do this anymore. I'm just telling you that I love her, and we have to get separate. I can't manage this part. I can't manage this duality of between two women. It's not working. My soul doesn't like it, and that was the part that I used the divine masculine energy with the divine feminine understanding that you cannot do those parts. And the soul was leading me. So I did that part. Will actually turn out pretty good confessions because ever since that I begin to be a more and more and more. But the part is the energies won't work, and within the bodies won't work is because the body is not ready to accept a higher 5D vibrations. Little by little, you have to be ready to adjust to those vibrations while you're together. The separation of it, uh, sometimes it's very hurtful because this separation process is exactly for that, to missing this key component. And when you go back with your twin and you're living together in the physical, you will have challenges with this because those energies, they're not balanced yet. This is the part, the inner work, when you have to work together to go ahead and balance it, and the inside and the outside part of it. But that is when you already accepted that you need to do this. Then you're gonna know that you are ready for it. You will accept them the way they are because you're gonna be working with whatever they are, not whatever you want them to be. This is not the relationship like in a marriage. And the marriage, once you get married, then you begin to have the bubble phase, which is lasting probably a few months, and afterwards, then you begin to well, just not like a wife, go ahead and do this and this. No, what I can't cook. Oh, you got married and you don't know she's not cooking? Wow. So now you have to go. Either you cook yourself or you teach her to cook, or somehow you buy her the books and she's going to learn how to cook. So that is the part of how you're gonna find the similar part of working as a partnership, working together with the problems. So on the other side, the soul is ready to work, but the conscious mind is not accepting them, not even acknowledging. The conscious mind is actually, if you take a look, there is a quote about this. The heart and the mind, they were talking, and the mind is like, why you always going there, heart, we're gonna get hurt. And the heart talking to the mind, could you be quiet? I know what I'm doing. And the soul was listening to them. It's like, why just not you two shut up? I will lead the way. I have them up. So that is the part of why some of the things do not work. So if divine masculine using his brain to resist them, why he can't use to understand? The understanding is a part of love. The understanding is when you have the inner peace. Without inner peace, you cannot understand. Let me repeat this part. If you're not a calm down and somebody tells you and explains you information, you won't be able to understand. You're not calm down, you're not open to listen to that information. The capability of listening will be equal to the capabilities of understanding. And the more peaceful you are, the more open you become. When you're more open, then you're able to understand. The feminine has the part of listening. The masculine always know the way. They're the macho man. And that part of the consciousness right there is the one that needs to be worked out to understand, like, hold on, buddy, you don't know everything. What you need to do is open up your mind, open your antenna, and listen to it. Listen to things that needs to be. The divine feminine is also in human form, trying to figure out the actual way to sort out about this journey with her logic mind. Well, the logic mind, it's again about the feminine. The feminine thinks like, oh, what I'm gonna do now? Why? How I'm gonna do it? The feminine has a very hard part, because the feminine has to listen the friends, her own mother, parents, if it's religious, the religion, culture, because that's what she's surrounding, that's her world right now. We all have our surrounding world, and when the twin flame kicks in, your surrounding world changes. I mean, people don't understand you. You're talking to them and they're like, you're talking different language. No, you're not talking different language. You're talking with vibrations. So the divine masculine also has also mind. Seems like using brain is a big deal for him. Well, here is again the biggest advice it's been given It's listen to your soul. Your soul always know the way. Always. If you trust the soul will bring you the information you need to know, that you need to understand. And you need to understand the best part is that you can't just go ahead and suppress your feminine or suppress your masculine energy. You have to begin uniting them. But 99% of the union begins in a personal inner work. If you're female, like for example, if you're female and you're born on different culture, like she's born in South America, you have to see your culture. You have to look at it. There is a different culture that it's I am from, and you have to understand we have to coexist as a culture. Guess what? We coexist. We're living on this rock called Earth. So we are not living any other places. We are living in the same rock. If you look at it from a religious standpoint of view, most of the South Americans they are Catholic. Okay, I'm born Orthodox, but guess what? Those are two limitations, and this is why the feminine and the masculine parts inside, looking for something else that it's out there, stays out of the limitations of the religion, stay out of the part that twin flame exists outside of that. You can't have these boxes for religion and work with it. It doesn't work that way. 10 the age. So little by little you unify things. Like for me, I have to unify the Latino culture, the Latino music. I have to accept the way they are, the culture is. I have to accept that she's younger than me. I have to accept that the thing's gonna be a little different, but I have to accept her the way she is in me. Because during the ignition stage, there is a little part of me went to her, and little part of her came to me. And this is why the people, when they saw us of it the way we are, it's like, oh my god, you're like a two teenagers looking to each other. You always know like she's coming. You don't see her, but you know that she's coming. How? They don't have the people because they're not awakened yet. They don't have this understanding that we do, but we begin to learn it with it. So if you're thinking with your mind, if you're thinking with your old way, the things will not work. This is why you focus in yourself into the part of inner work. You to understand the divine feminine and the divine masculine and unify them inside of you. Unify yourself, because that little portion of your twin inside of you, when you begin absorbing and you begin unifying with it, then you're beginning to understand what union means. And you begin to unite everything inside. And that's how the soul is going to lead you. Go back to the light, to the original part, when Adam and Eve, they were one piece. Because if you look at it on a physical level, the male and the female, what do they want? They want to become one family. But when you are within twin flames, what do they want? They want to go back to be unified as one in soul. Same concept, but just the completely different levels of it. Because when you become that part of one soul, you begin to understand the most important part. that it's the inner peace and soul. That's when you stop actually searching for it. You're not worried about the physical part, you're not worried about the material part, how the things will be. These things you can figure out with your twin over the time. The only thing that you're working on it is first the soul. And when the soul attracting the other soul, then you will feel the magic in itself. But the old way, the conscious, the mind, that is the part of the ego. And it will take some time of inner work, you to go ahead and working on it, and you and your partner to working on it. Because the unification is 99% self inner work. The 1%, it's when your twin comes to you. But before your twin comes to you, and they can comes in and say, hey, I love you. If that it's a female, she needs to understand, to bring the masculine part, to find the guts, to comes in and say the truth, to be the truth from soul. If that is a male, to go ahead and is like, hey, I'm sorry, I was so aggravated, I didn't know what I was doing, I love you. And that is a part of understanding, but deep, deep, deep from in soul level. So thank you for the questions. Thank you so much for watching the video. And I apologize if there was a noise from the conditioner, but I forgot to turn it off. But anyway, I hope that video will help out in the community. Thank you so much for watching it, and happy holidays. Be love.